Let's call this special meeting to order. And we'll begin by allowing CAO Smith to run this agenda and let us know exactly what it is that we're here for.
Do we do a roll call first?
Oh, yeah. Good idea. Thank you.
Supervisor Sullinger?
Here.
Supervisor Flores?
Here.
Supervisor Whitaker?
Here.
Supervisor Ziegemeyer?
Here.
Supervisor Koenig?
Here. I don't know why I'm always last.
District 5.
I know.
Okay.
It's on you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair and Honorable Supervisors. Steve Smith, County Administrator. So we have this meeting scheduled, and we're discussing a draft letter to the governor with the intent of asking for local control over decisions regarding opening businesses and phasing in safely, of course, businesses related to COVID-19 restrictions. We've been working regionally and had conversations with Yuba County, Assemblyman Gallagher, and others, and are looking at doing a regional effort. And what I would recommend at this time is we have this letter ready, and I know others, I think it will have a bigger impact if we're working regionally. And what I would recommend is that we have this letter as a placeholder of sorts while we work out details with Yuba County and Assemblyman Gallagher to do a joint venture on this that should have a bigger impact on the governor. And that's my recommendation. And if any of the supervisors would like to comment on that, or if they have questions of me.
Through the chair.
Sir.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've had numerous conversations with Assemblyman Gallagher, and maybe some of you have had the same conversations. And looking at this and taking a regional approach, as I stated before, is that, our strength is in numbers, and he feels that we can get this thing done fairly soon. They're also going to be shooting a video tomorrow with all the jurisdictions, and so the video and the regional approach with a letter that everybody can sign off on would be, as well as having Assemblyman Gallagher and Senator Nielsen carry our letter to the governor. It just makes it'll give a stronger approach for all of us. That's what from talking to him, I think that's the best way to go.
Through the chair. I agree with Jim. After speaking with James as well, that is that I agree with Jim.
To the chair.
Sir.
So, this, as I read the letter, it's great. I couldn't agree more that we need to do a regional approach. I do wonder if we don't need to emphasize, I know we have emphasized it, but more emphasis on the fact that we want to do this safely by gradually opening up and also safeguards. And we need to emphasize those safeguards more, I think, in the letter. I think it was good. It's just a little more detail might be good.
Through the chair.
Sure.
Yeah, one of the things I forgot to mention is that Assemblyman Gallagher also asked if we had any problems including Colusa County as well. So I would hope that we could include Colusa County, and like I said, that's three counties working together.
Absolutely. I'm going to give all six counties. Yeah, through the chair, I agree with Jim and James both. After speaking with James too, if we could, he believes he can get Butte County on board as well. That would be Yuba County, Sutter County, and Colusa County.
That's fine.
That sounds good to me too.
The more the merrier.
Sure. Through the chair.
Sir.
I just wanted to reiterate what Supervisor Whitaker has said too, and I am in favor of the regional approach.
and allowing the different regions also to peruse the letter and offer feedback. And I think it really solidifies the whole process, knowing that our assemblyman and our senator are willing to help carry the letter forward for and with us. So I'm in full support of the letter as well.
As am I.
You have to read all those letters.
Sounds unanimous. What's next on the agenda?
So, do we need a motion, or do we have to read those letters?
We have public comment.
Okay.
Okay. Let's hear it.
All right, starting with Amy Arndt. I am a Sutter County employee, and I have learned that a request is going to be made for the county to take over the ability to begin phasing in business operations. Although our area has not been impacted as much as other parts of the country, I believe it is because we are following the stay-at-home order. I feel it is premature to return to business as usual, and extreme caution should be taken. I realize many people are experiencing hardships, but it is not worth the risk of public safety for our citizens or employees. I urge the Board of Supervisors to continue to follow the directives as implemented by the state. Please do not rush this process, as we are all at great risk if you do so. My name is Bryan Fedora. I live in Sutter. I want to thank the board for taking up this conversation, and I am very hopeful it will pass 5-0 vote for approval. Sutter County is a unique and diverse county. Our population is much smaller than many, and I believe we should have our own local control. Thank you for your consideration. Teresa Gonzalez. Businesses seemed like a good thing to reopen, but have you thought about the low immune system people? Well, I am one of them. It has been really hard for my family and other families like mine that have had to stop working. It's tough economically, and as much as we want for business to reopen, we would be safer without them closed. But are you guys even aware of the grade we are getting on social distancing? If with the businesses closed, we have a D, I can't imagine what it would be like if business reopened. What has been the whole point of being stuck at home for so long then? This sounds like money is more important than saving lives. Haley Thompson, Sutter County employee and resident. I am writing to oppose Sutter County's idea to request local control of shelter in place so you can end the order early. Other areas have tried this, and all it did was spread the pandemic more. Look at the Safeway warehouse in Tracy. They did not adhere to the guidelines and had 51 COVID-19 cases in a few days. Sacramento churches did not adhere to the governor's orders, and they had 71 cases. We will reopen, but let's stay the course the way we do, so we don't do any more damage in the future. I believe this is a ploy by the county to bring all of its employees back to work on April 27th, whether they are deemed essential or not, and have them do random duties such as clean, file, take things to storage, basically not the employee's assigned job, because we would still be closed to the public. This is in direct violation of what all the experts have said, because you are bringing 1,000 employees back at the same time. This is not gradual, and you could cause the pandemic to spread rapidly. Also, I would like to point out that you cannot social distance in our offices. The cubicles are too close to each other, and the walkways don't allow for social distancing. I would like to point out that I am an essential employee and have been working during this time. As Sutter County is the second largest employer in this area, this would effectively end the stay-at-home order and other orders. Don't make this about money. Let's make this about the lives of the people that live in Sutter County and the lives of your employees. This request says that you do not care about your employees. I find it interesting that Yuba County is remaining closed and has not requested local control. They are trusting the governor and the health officer, which is also our health officer. You can't make the argument that we have flattened the curve because you don't have enough tests to know, and enough time has not passed. People are being told to stay home when they are sick, and they are being consistently tested due to lack of testing. I would like to point out that the health officer, Dr. Liu, stated yesterday, 4/17/20, that it was not time to end the stay at home, and that she encouraged everyone to continue practicing social distancing, staying home, good hygiene, and wearing facial covering. Is she even in support of this? Why would Sutter County want to go against what is working? Why do you pay the doctor if you're not going to listen to her? Jesse Gonzalez, I ask that you do not put greed before the safety of our community. Yes, in comparison to bigger counties like Sacramento, the number of COVID-19 cases is relatively small. That being said, the number of tests done by our county are inferior to the amount of tests being done by larger counties. The federal government has repeatedly stated the United States has a higher case count because of the amount of testing done. How can you responsibly say it is safe to open our county with inadequate data? It's easy to say, let's get back to work, so when your job is fairly isolated compared to some of us that work at a plant of 500 workers. I ask that you be humane, that you don't be previous, and that you err on the side of caution concerning the lives of our community. Marcia Miller, owner of Headline Salon. As an owner of a service-driven business here in Yuba City, I am supporting you and asking Governor Newsom to allow you to determine the stay-at-home order and help us get back to work. Since the order has been in place, our business has had a 100% drop in income. As Assemblyman Gallagher mentioned today in newspaper, our statistics regarding the virus have been contained and our hospital would be able to accommodate patients if there were another outbreak. So thankful for your time in addressing this and helping us get back to work. Sonia Shepard. I would like to share my thoughts with you on the subject of reopening our county. I personally have taken family leave from job at a grocery store in order to stay home and care for my 83-year-old mother. She has lung disease, ILP, as well as COPD. I have been very fearful of bringing this virus home to her. In addition, my daughter is a waitress in a high-volume restaurant. She lives with us as well as her 3 children. I am just one voice, but I am sure there are many more like mine. We are fearful. We have elderly in our homes and we want to protect them. I know everyone is ready to get back to the norm, but I ask you to please keep caution in your conversation this evening. What would just a little more time hurt before opening our county back up? Thank you. Diana Kemp, Heads Together Salon and Day Spa. I would like to ask you to ask Newsom to let the supervisors decide when it is safe to let businesses open back up. I believe it should be based on county, not state, to make that decision. Thank you. Michael Belcher, Yuba City resident. I saw the call for a public opinion on Facebook and wanted to add my thoughts to the discussion. I have from the beginning believed and still believe the decision to stop all commerce in the state was done prematurely and it was a gross overreaction. I do, however, understand why Governor Newsom felt it was necessary based on the poor information available at the time and that many people think lockdown isn't even necessary now. I respect the opinions of those who wish to quarantine or to continue the lockdowns and would not fault them for continuing to self-quarantine. We should also take care to support our elderly and at-risk neighbors in any and all ways available. As a small town, we need to take care of each other in times as these. Many of our community businesses are small family-owned operations that have been forced to close suddenly and without warning. I fear many of them will not survive this even if allowed to open soon, but if the shutdown continues, it will certainly fail. This will lead to very high, long-lasting unemployment in our small towns like we saw in 2008, if not far worse. Obviously, we may see a small uptick in corona cases if commerce is resumed, but in my opinion, the risk is offset by the certain economic pain and suffering that will surely result from a continued lockdown. Thank you for listening. Linda Lomeli. Allow a licensed beauty professional to perform a beauty service privately with only one client in the salon per stylist at a time, starting as of Monday, April 27th. All necessary precautions and sanitation protocols approved by the state of California and the local Board of Health will be followed. Our industry needs to be recognized and deemed as an essential business so we can better serve our community. We want and need to go back to work with new industry standards until the threat of coronavirus has passed. Thank you all for your help. Gara Pomeroy. This is the worst idea to be reopening our community. I know many people want to get to be at work, but at what cost? We are intertwined with much larger communities. What is just a matter of time as this explodes right here in Yuba and Sutter counties. Please don't make the mistake and open up our community to the possibility of more cases that our medical teams cannot handle. I personally have had an exchange student from Italy who messages me daily saying, don't be like them and stay home. Please don't open the community yet. Jody Keller. Good afternoon. I would like to thank you for considering the request to lift the shelter in place for Sutter County. Public can choose to wear masks if they feel more comfortable in doing so and can take the necessary precautions that they feel are suitable for themselves, but as a community, we should begin to reopen businesses and begin to restore the community. I would recommend phasing in the efforts to reopen. For our elder members in the community and for people who suffer from more serious illnesses, They can and should limit access to the public for their own safety, but for the thousands of us that are well, we need to be allowed to return to work and to open our doors to provide the services in the community and simply bring back life to Sutter County. Thank you for the public to allow to comment on this topic. Marissa Lara. It was brought to our attention the Board of Supervisors for the County of Sutter is planning to lobby the governor in order to request control of the county during the pandemic with the notion that we do not have many cases as other areas do. I would agree the County of Sutter does not have the record number of cases as other counties in our state. I would argue this is for several reasons. We are a rural area with smaller population in comparison, and our county was proactive in ordering a shelter in place fairly early on as recommended by our governor. The second reason, and the most concerning, is because as a county we have not been proactive in testing. A couple of weeks ago I had a conversation with my primary care physician during a routine office visit. During this conversation he expressed frustration with a lack of testing. He stated that he had referred several patients for testing in the week prior who were refused because they did not meet all of the symptoms. We have read so many accounts over the past few weeks advising that not everyone meets all the symptoms, but yet Sutter County was denying people tests. Sutter County has a population of 96,651, according to a study completed in 2016. Of this population, as of April 18th, only 1,192 people have been tested. We still have over 100 tests pending. As of today, our total of 25 cases are in our county. As you can see, shy of 1,200 tests is not an accurate representation of our county. At this point, it would be over the 3 minutes to continue reading this letter, so I'll move on to the next. Catalina Aceves. I am not in support of local control at stay-at-home shelters. I see the challenges that exist in small business community. I also see the impacts and deadly challenges that it poses to the Latinos and other minorities, including immigrants. In the Sutter County area, who are already in a disparaged situation when it comes to healthcare access and access to financial resources. Let it not be forgotten how much they hugely contribute to our rural, agriculturally based economy, and those communities are already being hit hard when it comes to financial and health impacts. I already see on a daily basis countless community residents not properly following physical distancing. If we lax our restrictions for the sake of small businesses, that entitled mindset of needing not to follow the social distancing guidelines will only get worse. The reason our community hasn't been hit as hard is due to our early reaction to the pandemic relative to other and larger, more populated areas. Our lack of cases is a direct reflection of the lack of testing and lack of data. Just because we don't have an accurate reflection of the state of our county does not give us a premise to increase the risk for our community members for the sake of business. Mind you, businesses that have been steadily offered multiple resources from the beginning and with some strategic planning and creative solution can build through this and get to the other side. If businesses are struggling, it's because they aren't using their resources properly. Yet the risk to our community is one that would impact people who do not have the financial access to resources needed to survive this. These individuals are not in the same playing field and have never been. That isn't anything new, yet the enhanced light that this sheds on their situation is felt harder on those communities, all for the sake of businesses. We have a low number of cases, good for us, so let's keep it that way. We should be using this to our advantage to stay ahead of the surge and hopefully make it out of this in the other end with minimal deadly impacts. At this point, I am 3 minutes into this person's comments. Stacy Lane Nolan, a walk down Stacy Lane. Dear Sutter County Board of Supervisors, my name is Stacy Nolan. I have been a hairstylist in this area for over 11 years. This is my only source of income. As you know, we are considered non-essential. I am 100% fine with that. What I am asking for is to be given the opportunity to reopen the salon with these restrictions. Everyone in the salon will have their temperature taken. Wear a face mask, wear gloves. Guests will wear a mask or something to cover their mouth/nose while services are being performed. The waiting area will remain closed. We will practice social distancing and have no more than one client at a time. In the event a client shows up early, they will be asked to wait outside or in their car. Absolutely no one will be allowed in that has been traveling or sick within the last month. After each client is done, everything will be wiped down with Clorox or barbicide. I have obeyed these rules. However, I am at the point where I don't know how much longer I can do this. I'm going to be losing clients because so-and-so got their hair done in Sacramento because they are still actively open. We are a small town. Support small businesses. My hands are tied. If I sell my color to a client, my color line will not allow me to ever purchase through them again. Not every line is like that. That's my situation. I get 5 or 6 calls a day with people asking me to do black market hair. Would you rather have us working with strict guidelines than everyone just doing what they want? We are governed by the State Board of Barbering and Cosmetology. We have very strict standards we have to meet before this virus outbreak. You have a city full of amazing talent that are going by the directive that was set forth. At this point, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. My clients have been amazing with purchasing product from me. I'm fortunate to be married for someone that is still working full-time and receiving a check. That doesn't mean I don't have to work. We are struggling. Please take all of this into consideration for hairstylists, nail artists, lash artists, estheticians, and massage therapists. If this keeps going, you're going to have a city full of empty buildings and residents traveling to other cities for these services. Thank you for your time. Mike Aldridge. The current state of order stay-in-place restrictions are saving lives and need to continue until public health experts determine they are no longer necessary. Jennifer Wells. I support Governor Newsom's authority to manage coronavirus response. Any communication from the board should be informational only. Chris Bates. Please consider allowing hairstylists and nail salons to open based on their recommendations and safety protocols that have been suggested. These people have been out of work with no income for over a month, and most are self-employed. They have not received any employment since the state is not set up to process their claims. We can go without haircuts, but they cannot go without income. Jeanette Leith. My request is that they advocate for us to our governor for us to be able to open up our industry in this county so that we can get back to work with very strict guidelines. Everyone in a salon will have their temperature taken. Wear a face mask and gloves. Guests will wear a mask or something to cover their mouth/nose while services are being performed. The waiting area will be closed. We will practice social distancing and have no more than one client at a time. In the event a client shows up early, they will be asked to wait outside or in their car. Absolutely no one will be allowed in that has been traveling or sick within the last month. After each client is done, everything will be sanitized. We have been without income for 5 weeks. Our salons and buildings sit empty. Remember, we still have to pay rent. Our voices need to be heard. This is for your hairstylist, nail artist, lash artist, esthetician, and massage therapist. So many of us will not be able to maintain our businesses if this continues much longer. California has more than 33,000 hairstylists, the highest number of any state. Our governor has not even given a date for us to get into phase 1, and with yesterday's numbers and cases going up in California, I don't foresee us getting back in the salon anytime soon. Hello, my name is Jennifer Kaufmann. I am a mother of 3 children, ages 7, 3, and 2. I am a caregiver to my father who is on dialysis and is living at home with us. I am a hairstylist and been out of work for over 1 month and have not received unemployment due to the state already being not ready for us. Please consider allowing us in the beauty industry to come back and work with a soft opening. My salon owner has already stated we would be allowed 1 client at a time and 1 stylist at a salon at a time. Clients and stylists will be required to wear masks and keep up with disinfection as we are required by the state board. We are all aware that we are not considered essential. However, when we have no income, we cannot provide essential provisions for our families. Bryan Kaufmann. My name is Bryan Kaufmann. I am married to Jennifer Kaufmann and have 3 children ages 7, 3, and 2. Jennifer is a hairstylist and has been out of work for over a month. I understand a career is to seem non-essential during COVID-19 pandemic, but her income is essential to our family. Her parents live with us, whom are retired with a limited income, and she cares for her father who needs dialysis 3 days a week. I know we are not the only family wanting normalcy, but please allow her to work and consider a soft opening at salons. Anything helps. Thank you. Amy Aldrich. Good afternoon. I believe we should not rush into the current lifting of the SIP order. We should listen and take direction from health officials. I know this is not easy. As a mother and grandmother, I am desperately missing my family. I very much would like to gather together. However, at this point, I feel that would be reckless and selfish. The order as it stands is saving lives. We should not be in a hurry to lift a standing order. We should listen to the health officials. Let us be smart and safe, else we might suffer dangerous consequences. David Gill, I am writing to let you know as a citizen I find these measures draconian. Not only do I have a constitutional right to travel and assemble, but those in the hair profession have a right to earn a living for their families. If you need to make rules, fine. Make the rules and let businesses reopen. Robert Ahu, county employee with behavioral health, president of the Sutter County Employees Association. I am confused. Employees at behavioral health, managers and supervisors have been given direction and or being asked to return to normal work schedule starting next Monday. And beginning 4/27, all employees should return to working the normal number of required hours, to include the modifications of distancing and symptoms. My confusion and question, is the behavioral health direction out of place or not binding upon employees as you are seeking the governor's support to return to work? Do we as directed, of course, unless challenging safety, but if governor does not support what we do? And the last letter I have is from Robert Lawson. To anyone who will listen, I have never felt a need to address anyone publicly, but this persistent obfuscation, misdirection, and general not it with the coronavirus has reached a level far beneath what we expect from our elected officials and great nation. At this point, a slightly talented senior in high school could have managed a better operation. There is so much shame our government should feel. As of yesterday, the U.S. Navy had tested 94% of the men and women aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt 3 weeks after it arrived in Guam. This feels emblematic of the insanity we face here at home. As a former sailor who served aboard 3 ships in the U.S. Coast Guard and trained with the U.S. Navy for nearly 2 years, I can give a qualified poorly done to the Pentagon and to the president. What's the old military term? S rolls downhill and responsibility leaps to the top. Who is managing this catastrophe? The professional and American sailors aboard the Theodore Roosevelt have a tough job in the best of circumstances and do not benefit from a management structure that seems to have failed at every point past Captain Brett Crozier. Even senior crew members often sleep in racks that have persons 6 inches from your head to feet and 2 other shipmates 24 inches above and below you. It's a tough existence when somebody gets the common cold, much less the coronavirus, a cold we cannot see and avoid. Rumor control on a ship is non-existent, so I can only imagine the fear rolling through the Theodore Roosevelt as Captain Crozier finally felt compelled to write in his letter. I greatly admire the courage and strength of what he had to say to have taken such measures, and he sounds like the kind of captain I would have followed anywhere in battle. That's the man or woman you want in charge. Acting Secretary of the Navy Thomas Modly, while quite emblematic of Trump's current cabinet, is a failure and a disgrace. President Trump's willingness to support a poster child for early discharge was equally abhorrent. The irony of the public release of his message to the crew was that it was probably leaked quicker than Captain Crozier's letter was disseminated to the press. As Trump might say, some say it spread like a virus. In listening to Modly's contemptible speech to the ship over the 1MC General Shipboard broadcast, I realized that while we use colorful language in the military, I have never heard a member of the command use it in such a public address. How long until the White House press release follows suit? Will they return to actual press releases? That is. Returning to the test failure spearheaded by Jared Kushner and his band of preppy misfits, what the heck? Trump spews out everyone who wants a test gets a test? No. Trump announces the great 1700 program Google collaboration on finding test sites? No again. Google has even paused hiring. Surely the final saving grace will be the plan for drive-through testing? No again. At this point, the letter continues, but we're past the 3 minutes. And that concludes the public comment.
Just a couple comments on the letters. County was joining in on our letter asking for that. We also are testing pretty much equal numbers percentage-wise to larger counties, is my understanding, and we are testing the sick of the sick. We are still going to continue to self-quarantine and quarantine the elderly, I think. That's part of our plan. And we're still going to require social distancing, face masks, and gloves in certain locations.
I don't know about the...
Through the chair?
I don't know about... Yes, sir.
I just want to make a motion that we pass the approval for the CEO's recommendation to do a regional letter with all surrounding counties.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Before we vote on the motion, is there any discussion? Does anyone have anything to say? I have a little bit to say, and I would just like to say that I've had about 70 people respond to my particular posting on my Facebook account. But one of the more interesting things, the majority of the people that seemingly are against us doing this, urging the governor to let us have a little more free rein, are employees, not business owners. The majority of people that have responded back to me are in favor, but I thought this one gentleman who was very upset, seemingly, I would read to you what he said. For the people that don't want to open things up, how about you stay home if you're scared? How about you wear a mask in public if you're afraid? How about you don't go to work if you don't want to because you're scared? How about you order your food online and live in a virtual world if you choose, because you're afraid, to be in a non-sterile, germ-infested public environment? It is your right to impose restrictions upon yourself as you see fit. It is not your right to impose those restrictions on me. Why should I be forced to do these things? Why should you get to bully me all of a sudden about germs? When was the last time you wore a mask to protect random strangers from a pathogen? What happened to freedom? What happened to the Constitution? Whatever happened to unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? No one can create a germ-free public. No one can create a sterile world. When this virus is gone, the next one will be worse. Did you think of that? Anyway, that's the gist of the majority of the feelings that I've got. Time for a roll call vote. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor will signify on the roll call.
Supervisor Sullinger?
Yes.
Supervisor Flores?
Yes.
Supervisor Whitaker?
Yes.
Supervisor Ziegemeyer?
Yes.
Supervisor Conant?
Yes.
Unanimously approved. Is there anything further we need to discuss about this situation, Mr. Smith, or are we leaving it in your capable hands?
I have no further comments. Chair Sullinger.
Through the chair. Sir. Through the chair. Okay, so, Steve, are you going to help out, reach out then to talk with Colusa County and maybe talk with James, because James said that he would help out, reach out to Butte County. So just to make sure people are talking to the different counties about putting together this regional approach.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I will be doing that along with Robert Bendorf, my counterpart in Yuba County, and make sure that we have coordinated with the local counties that want to be involved, and with Assemblyman Gallagher and Senator Nielsen. I know they're very appreciative of our efforts here, and that we've done a really good job, and the community has done a great job, evidenced by our low numbers. So, yeah, we will be working in concert with them, and be reaching out to the cities as well.
All right, perfect. So you'll talk with Dan Lynn. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Steve. This plan we're going forward with. I think it's the right thing to do. But let's say things turn south and we have a lot of cases all of a sudden. We can pull back on this, correct?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I think one of the misconceptions about this is that asking for local control is about opening up everything right away. And Dr. Liu, her order still stands, and we look at respecting that order and are just trying to be prepared for when we have the ability legally to phase in, and we want to do that as soon as we legally can. So we would be doing that in a safe manner. You may have heard some comments there also, even from employees about the county. I think there's some misconceptions there. We're looking at split shifts. We're still looking at working from home. We're looking at social distancing, face masks, all the things to keep people safe. So there may be some assumptions or some miscommunication there, but yeah, we're looking at doing this just in a safe manner with Dr. Liu's recommendations.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Unless something else to add to this meeting, it will be adjourned.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good Sunday.